Hey guys, welcome to my temple. So this is my temple. It's pretty basic as far as temples go, but it does the job for me currently. And today, I want to talk about the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Okay. So most people that are starting to meditate and do energy work and heck, even if you're actually like a neophyte on the path that I'm on of the Western ceremonial Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which I am a Theoricus, which is in the air grades, the outer air grades. But that's neither here nor there. So we're talking about the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. And basically, what it consists of is there's 4 elements that make up the physical reality. And those 4 combined is from the source, which we're going to call spirit. And so you've got earth, you've got air, you've got fire, and you've got water. And this is light, right? And that is what reality is made of. And so it's all very symbolic, but we can even get, closer to this. So I had an epiphany today, which blew my fucking mind. And that was that air, water, earth, and fire are not actually 4 separate elements, but they're really 2 separate elements, and both of those 2 separate elements have 2 separate polarities. So for instance, earth and fire are the same energy, but earth is slowed down so much that it appears solid. And then it's sped up, it appears to be fire, right? And then water and air are basically the exact same. So when you feel air and you feel wetness from water, you're feeling the exact same energy, just from a different polarity. And so you've got water, which is basically just a slowed down, but it's different than the earth fire because it's just a different substance. Whereas earth is hard and cold, this is wet and cold, right? And so this just becomes wet and hot. Whereas this is dry and hot and dry and cold. This is just dry and hot and dry and cold. And so you've got water, and then that energy changes. It goes to its highest polarity, the opposite of this, and that goes to air. And so when you've got earth, fire, air, and water, it's merely 2, but then it's all connected by this light. It's all created by this light. So anyways, I'm going off on a tangent, and this is merely just speculation. This was just me having my inner intuition and my own little epiphany. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. You can just continue to use the the four elements as being four separate things. And I am too, to some extent. It's just I've had an awakening in my mind, which I now just realize that even things we think are separate are actually just connected in different extremes. And the thing about me is when I realized air and water were the same thing, that just blew my mind. The wind and the water, like that is just amazing. But anyways, to get back on track, the lesser banishing ritual is you're either banishing something, so you're casting it away, or you're invoking it, and that's you're bringing it towards you. You're bringing it towards your sacred sphere, which is being worked on in your inside, and then through alchemical processes, what happens on the inside will then happen on the outside in your 3D reality, because as above, so below, and as within, so without. And so the very first thing you're taught is the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, and that's simply because Earth is the densest material, and if you banish Earth, you banish water, fire, and air by default. And like I said, the way you do that is you go away from the element. So if we were invoking it, we would go towards the element, but since we're going away from it, that means we're banishing it. So we want to get rid of it. So to purify your space at the very beginning, you first draw your quarters, and then you associate east, south, west, and north, your sacred directions. And then you basically hold out your finger and you see imaginary 5 points. Your lower thigh is earth. Your left thigh is earth. Your left shoulder is air. Your right shoulder is fire. Your left thigh is water. And your forehead is light. Right? So this would be earth. And then this would be air. And then this would be fire. And then this would be water. And then this would be spirit. Right? And what you're doing is you start at earth, and with a blue line, you go to light. And then you go down to water. And then you go across to air. And then you go over to fire. And then you go back to earth. And that creates a pentagram. And so the trick is we take for granted shapes, right? Shapes are actually, they're, like, how are they created? Like, doesn't anyone ever wonder how this 5-pointed star is created? Like, this thing is absolutely amazing. If you break down what this is just merely a direction of energy doing different things through different points. And in this area, we have gone this way to banish the earth element, right? We've banished it, and you have drawn that energy away from earth, back to the light, which then goes to water, which then goes to air, which then goes to fire, which then goes back to earth. You then say, Yahi, Vahi, and you stab through the center of it, which causes it to flame up. All of this is just symbolism. It's just showing you, it's inserting this into your subconscious mind so that you become programmed to just automatically know this stuff and live this stuff. So for instance, in the Theoricus grade, I am invoking air, right? And so what I do is we're going towards air, right? And so we know this is air, and we know this is fire, and we know this is earth, and we know this is water, and we know this is light, right? And we're invoking air. So all we're doing is we're starting at fire, and we're going to air with a yellow line, and then we're going to water, right? And then we're going up to the light. Then we're going down to earth. And then we're going up to fire, right? And then we go back to air, right? And so in this particular scenario, what I've done is I've taken the energy of fire and I've started it at air. So we're drawing air, and then we take that and we go down to water. Then we go up to light, and then we go down to earth, and then we go back to fire. And because of that, we've created a pattern that has now created a shape. So we've created something that didn't exist before, but it makes perfect sense why it exists. And it exists as a two-dimensional representation and also a three-dimensional representation. And so what I've done now, there's now a portal that has been connected, because when points connect, they create energy. So we've got here, 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 and here. So this is 5 sacred points of energy. And so inside of here is very dense and powerful. And so in this scenario, you would go Shaddai Ukai, and this whole star would burst into yellow flame. And then you would go into the center and you would do a violet symbol, sigil for Aquarius, because that's the fixed air sign. And then you would go Yahi Vahi, and then of course you would do, you would continue onward. But I just wanted to let you know that that is the purpose of the lesser banishing ritual. It is merely just to show you, when you're making that shape, it's just 5 different energies, 5 separate energies, and you're just playing a dance of what direction you're going. And then as you make that dance, you create a shape, and because you make that shape, you start vibrating power, and then especially the center part. So then you inject that center part with your intent and more power, and then you create a circle because you do it through 4 different points which all connect, and then that in turn gives you a sacred circle, sacred sphere, which you can then begin to work your magic.